Yeah,
Nadia?
hello, Doctor.
Yes, hello.
Please, I'm engaging you now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, we'll come to you for you to end your take on this matter. How about being joined on the phone line by Dr. Obadele Kambon, a researcher and a senior lecturer at the Institute of African Studies here at the University of Ghana. Good evening, sir, and welcome to the Behind the Headlines program.
Yes, good evening. Just to clarify, I'm a research fellow at the Institute of African Studies.
Okay, the research fellow at the Institute of African Studies.
Exactly.
Now, sir, on this particular matter, there are those who are saying that, well, this could bring an end to the whole debate on who is the founder or who are the founders of Ghana. What would be your initial remarks on the proposal made by the president?
Yeah, I think we've seen some foreshadowing of this even with the inauguration speech where, this is His Excellency Nana Akufo Addo, he made some overtures to, basically saying that Kwame Nkrumah was not the founder, but, his own family members and then other people, UGCC and so forth and so on, were instrumental. So we can kind of see this coming. To propose the 4th of August, I'm not sure if people are aware of the significance of that date, but that was the date in 1897 where you had the Aborigines Rights Protection Society formed in Cape Coast and others coming together. So, one thing that I'm happy about is that it's not something to completely wipe Kwame Nkrumah off of the thing, because for those who may not know, especially young people, they don't know about the UP versus CPP and all of these things that have been going on throughout the years. And the most recent iterations of it is in the NPP, which, takes that UP type of position, and then the NDC, which takes more of the CPP's, legacy and social democracy, which is leaning more towards the socialism of Kwame Nkrumah. So, my main concern is that if and when the NDC comes back into power, that it may just be a thing of every single time a new government comes in, then they wipe off what the other one has done. We saw some degree of this with, Jubilee, House, Flagstaff, and so forth and so on. And, my concern would be if it just comes down to something of, excuse me to say, maybe some degree of pettiness. And I'm not saying that this what this is, but I could see in the future, a new government comes in and says, okay, well, let's wipe that and let's go back to this, let's wipe this, let's go back to that. And it really would not do well for our institutional memory and things of that nature.
But on a principle level, which line of the argument do you stand? That we should get a day that has a direct bearing for our independence struggle, which we are going to celebrate every person? Or do you think that we should just celebrate Nkrumah, who, I must say, finished the independence struggle as the sole founder of Ghana? Which of the line of argument on a principle level do you stand?
If you're asking me my personal on a principle level, is that we still do not have independence. We have flag independence per se, but we don't have independence because we're very much dependent on our colonial and neo-colonial enemies to this day. If you look at HIPC status, if you look at World Bank loans, IMF loans, right now the University of Ghana cannot hire because of stipulations on loans that were taken, where basically, we talk about structural adjustment, where the foreign policy is determined from the outside. And this is actually something that Kwame Nkrumah talked about in neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism, where he says in this state you have all the outward trappings of independence, but at a more intrinsic level, all of your policy is directed from the outside because your economics are controlled from the outside. So if you're asking me my opinion, it's neither one of those two. I think what we need to be doing is to still struggle for independence because we are very much dependent. When I walk around the University of Ghana campus, I see most people wearing clothes made by non-African people. Now, this is something that we could remedy, but what that amounts to is billions of dollars in aid just on a clothing choice that we are giving to the West that we could use to fix our roads, that we could use to make sure doomsday never comes back, and so forth and so on. So that's my own personal opinion, which is in neither one of those two camps per se. But my own personal opinion is that we don't have independence. We have flag independence. We have symbols. We have national anthem. But that's something that this generation needs to struggle for. We have a statue of Gandhi on campus, which tells us that the Indian government is now coming in to run our affairs. They just gave $1 million to Nana Akufo-Addo to redo Flagstaff House. They are saying that they want to do a 400-seater parliament. And basically what they're saying is that they're buying off our president, they're buying off our lawmakers. And it's up to those people to decide whether they can and will be bought off. So again, all of those things from India to China to so forth and so on, it shows that we are not independent. No, and really what we should strive to be is interdependent with other black people. And when Haiti just applied to join the African Union, they were rejected. And this tells us that we really don't understand the interdependence that we need among black people, African people, because we're still dependent on the Chinese, the Indians, the Arabs, Morocco, US, UK, so forth and so on. So that's my own take.
Well, finally, before you take leave of us, if we are supposed to accept this proposition by the president, in your opinion, and possibly if you are supposed to recommend it, how would you recommend that these celebrations be done?
Yeah, I think that they're trying to do it with as much tact as possible while still running their agenda. They're saying that the 21st of September will be Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day. The people from that camp should be, to some degree, happy about that because it's going from just Founders Day to now mentioning Kwame Nkrumah specifically. But then perhaps, the people in the NPP, UGCC, UP, so forth and so on, that line, the Dankwa Buzia tradition should be happy that now they can have, some line, to have, their side of the story. So, I think we have to see how it plays out. Again, like I said, my concern is that the next time NDC comes in or anyone else comes in, they can just say, oh, well, just how you wiped away what we did, we're going to wipe away what you did. But I think at least to some degree they're trying to be tactful and trying to be circumspect because let's say if they just completely tried to wipe it off, which is what it sounded like with the inauguration, like they're trying to rewrite history. And there's a musician, Ras True Eye, he came out with a song, Kwame Nkrumah, the founder of Ghana, as a response to, that inauguration speech. My concern again is that it could just degenerate into, meaningless politics where at the end of the day, the youth don't have anyone to look up to except for our racist enemies like Gandhi's statue. Where's our statue of Nkrumah? Where's our statue of Busia, Dankwa, so forth and so on. What I would like to see is a unity statue where you have Nkrumah on one side, Dankwa on another side, perhaps putting a graduation cap on Theodosia Salome Oko, who did our flag. So we have feminine, masculine, and then it also shows coming together as African people around something that's useful.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for your comments with us. Unfortunately,